So basically, I don't know if it's a good idea to record this. I've actually deleted all previous episodes where I left you a message. Because technically, it's not really a good idea. And the devil pushed me to do that. Part of the demonic persecution I go through, something very unique and strange that a regular human cannot go through, is also doing a lot of witchcraft to my mind to get me to do things that are not authentic to myself or not good for me in that context or good for me at all. It's to always get me to do things that I just should not do. That's also what witchcraft does to a human being. It pushes you to do things that are not healthy for you that moment. It takes away people's authenticity, their personality. And constantly having all these thoughts, emotions being projected to you of how to behave and treat human beings in certain situations in your life. That's demons trying to blend their personalities with you as a human being overall. And if you're possessed, no, that's worse for you. So demons have always tried to steal my personality, my authentic, natural self, the way I would behave in a certain situation, through relentless harassment, relentless thoughts and emotions being projected to me about what others think of me, feel about me, that they don't even know who I am. It's the demons possessing them that's projecting those emotions and thoughts to me as they stare at me like a hawk. You know, wherever I go, they're just going to stare as if they've never seen a living being before. Like they're looking at some other species or something they've never seen. You know? Demons do that to try to change my personality. They want to blend their thoughts and emotions, right? Which is from their own personality. They want to blend that with mine. So be careful with that overall as human beings. I would never be someone that talks about their personal life or shares anything personal, even if it's covert, on a public platform like my podcast. So that's something I would have never done. But the devil pushed me using a lot of dreams, very horrific dreams about you, trying to always scare me that something bad was happening to you, etc. And normally, someone close to God like me would just pray for that person, you know, whether the dream was false or real. We wouldn't push ourselves to contact someone that we know we shouldn't contact, etc. Because we're not your protector. God is the protector. So even if I did think something bad was happening to you, I just pray to God to protect you, correct? But that's part of that demonic harassment I go through. They're always trying to change my own desires, my own authentic nature, what I want to do. What God has taught me to do. They was trying to manipulate my authentic self. Let's just say God put me through a lot of weird situations this month, April 2024. I thought a lot of things that I didn't want, He was pushing me to accept it. Because they're actually not what I wanted. They're not what I prayed for. And then He allowed demons to basically terrorize me with it or torture me with it. Which comes out as human beings just, you know, extremely acting inappropriate and evil and toxic and criminal in that situation. Where it seems like God was helping me with something. These strangers are just harassing me so much and acting criminal just to take it from me. you would start to believe they actually know the person due to just how obsessed they are with sabotaging whatever God gives me. They're the human beings today we would say are narcissistic or psychopathic personality disorder. That's really the humans that demons would possess and use a lot. They want to take anything from me. And those who are more decent in their morality, they just be used to be other behaviors. The goal is to constantly re-traumatize me because I grew up being born to narcissistic psychopathic family. Even their own children are like that. It's so creepy. They're all possessed by demons who behave that way because that's a demon who makes humans do that weird way that those psychopaths behave, etc. Perverts behave. There's always a human with these three qualities. They're perverted, they're narcissistic, and they're psychopathic. It's a three blend. So they act perverted towards me. They're always trying to invade my personal space, trying to touch you. They just want me to just say something, do something to that human so then they can take something away from me that human was supposed to do for me, you know? Like maybe they were an employee helping me with something, etc. They want me to just get accused. Even though I'm the victim, they're just going to act like the victim, you get me, when I confront them. So when I come up with smart ways to just protect myself, protect my body, be calm, be patient, be professional, etc. They don't get what they want. They don't get a reaction. Then they just blatantly lie about me. They just go for it and expose themselves. Which, now makes it obvious, right, for me to prove I was being targeted. And it's a cycle. It happens everywhere I go. And they push me to places and states that you would see such humans a lot because there are always decent places in this country and everywhere else. Because they actually want me to believe this is always the humans that are there. When there's good people, obviously, in this country. When there's decent humans who would be normal with me, that I obviously grew up interacting with many times in my past. But now I'm just in a cycle. It's a pattern. They're able to harass me here, sabotage this, push me to another place that's going to be the same type of environment, bring bad humans who are the same. They just want me to believe they're in control of my life. They're not. God is choosing what I go through. Every day he shows that. When he wants to help me, he just makes random people come up to me and give me something. You know? They don't even act like they're the ones giving you because they're not. God just makes them do it. They're not conscious. So the same way, the ones who are acting negative around me are not conscious either. I'm not someone you can mess with. God is making them do it too. So I'm like in this box. And God is just putting me in it. And I can't step out until he says you can step out. Anyone would have a hard time living in this type of life. And for that reason, he doesn't put regular humans through this. Only prophets and messengers went through this, and I'm not either. I kind of know who I am and why he wants me to live like this and to experience this high-level persecution only they went through. And some of that, I used it to reveal his religion is corrupted, Islam, and how that affects Christianity and others, even though he's not letting me tell the world or anything because he's not ready for that. I don't understand most of the things that he's trying to do. It's very hard for me to just wait because it seems like it's endless. You start to question if God is crazy or something. Like those thoughts come to your mind. Like, are you crazy? What in the world do you want? Those are not our thoughts. I mean, we can be confused about him because we don't know, obviously, his intentions, but things like that where you insult him is obviously from the emotions and the thoughts the demon is projecting to you. They don't have to be around you through people they're possessing. They're around us anyway. We just can't see demons. They're invisible. They're called jinn in Islam, and they're just able to project what they want to you. It enters your mind as a thought. You don't always see the thought. You start talking and behaving a way you didn't intend. Such as sometimes fear just comes over you when you saw something. Something that normally you're not even scared of. with this heavy energy, and then boom, the thoughts, when they notice you fell into that sort of emotion, like you felt it, you're aware of it. It doesn't mean you're scared. It doesn't mean you fell to the trap. No, even if you just became aware of the fear, that energy came over you, they'll treat you like you fell into it. They'll just attack you with thoughts now. And you're thinking, what the hell? Whether you fall into something or not, they still treat you like that. Yeah, because the goal is to torture the mind of the human first. That's the only way to enter their life and make them do behaviors or make decisions in life according to what demons want. That's how they corrupted human beings into evil and psychopaths and perverts. They project thoughts and emotions to you. You agree with it. You follow it. You go in that direction. You're evil now. Good people who would never do that. They just terrorize you through traumatic incidences that they cause for you, using those bad ones, those evil humans. I've noticed when I start these types of episodes where I'm addressing you, I, in the middle, for a couple of minutes, talk about something else, about psychology of evil or something spiritual. I don't just tell you what I'm trying to tell you, because it's very hard for me, get it? I don't want to. I'm a private person. I can't just get to the point and just be done with it. So now I'm about to go back to what I was initially trying to tell you. It doesn't matter if other people will hear this podcast. No one knows who you are. Only God knows you. Only God knows I'm addressing you. No one knows who I'm talking to. They can't even be like, well, at least we can speculate. No, you can't. There's many people that we can care about. You don't know who I'm talking about. So I just want to address you one last time. This is a last message. God has chosen a difficult life for me. At one point, he chose that I see a lot of crazy situations and human beings, obviously, who are evil as hell, to teach me a lot of things. And at one point, I saw you, and you were used to teach me a lot of things. Just so you know, God actually was using you to teach me things. That was actually the reason I've ever encountered you in this earth. So I have a unique life, obviously. And I've said many times I'm not a regular human. At least you know. The rest of the human race doesn't know. I told you something about me. Don't ever tell anyone. Keep that as your own little information that makes you special. You get to know something. The rest will never understand. Way in the future, they'll understand, obviously. But not now. Obviously, time is going by. All of us are aging quickly. There's so much global chaos. The world really is about to end soon. That's why everyone seems so strange, like they're somehow robots. When you watch politicians or the people on TV, people don't seem like they're thinking anymore or that they're in their right mind, right? It seems like there's some sort of puppet that just, they seem dead, like Joe Biden. Like everyone just seems dead because they really are dead. They're all possessed, but now they're all possessed at a higher level. Humans were possessed before. It's just that it's just worse now. I believe due to the vaccine. Since I told you it's from the devil, they created that. Only God knows how they did it. They used bad people, obviously. That is something they're using to do something's, dark power to those human beings, whether it's witchcraft or whatever it is. Humans are going to start to act like zombies or some dead-like thing that just is not there with us anymore. A lot of them obviously are dying from it, losing their limbs and having huge, weird, strange diseases. That's the other consequence. But those who we would say are evil is going to really make them sick and strange and zombie-like because they're possessed to behave that way. And some of those human beings are the ones I see every day being possessed to just follow me around. You know, they're just made to come to that same environment. You know, they're not always aware. They're being used to follow me and monitor me. But then at some point they do know and they are agreeing with it, then it becomes an intentional sin because they're actually following me at some point. They're intentionally coming to my environment at some point. They're agreeing with their demons to actually say something evil to you at some point, try to touch you at some point pervertedly, even though they don't know who I am. If they knew, they would go back and run 300 miles backwards. They'd see they're not in front of a regular human like themselves. Fear would overtake them. So only with God's power entering them are these demons able to have the power to treat me as if they're not scared of me, as if they can actually touch me or whatever, when they cannot. That's why they got this power over time. As I was aging, God allowed them to get worse. All I did is just question God. And I've reached a point where I'm just going to stop. I've reached a point where I'm going to stop trying to tell him what I want. Not to lose faith in him or make you think you should do the same because you're different than me. You should continue to do that. I'm just telling you that I know he's chosen a destiny for me that is just going to be always painful and sad. That doesn't mean something good is not waiting at the end of it all. You know, like a really cool movie where the hero has a good ending. I'm just saying it's one of those stories like a prophet where God is treating me like them. Where I'm just going to have a bad life filled with suffering. It's like he just chose me to suffer. Do you get what I'm saying? And he knows I can handle it. Otherwise, I would have become a disbeliever or did something, you know, that you would expect other humans to do. I don't. I continue to live as if nothing's happening. Because he already created in me the strength to deal with such nonsense. Every day, seeing demons terrorizing me, but they're invisible. That's obviously psychologically torturous. It's not hard, obviously, because humans are actively harassing me and committing crime, but, you know, that's half the trauma. If you could see what I see, I could actually see the demon in my mind. Not what they look like, but sort of like this character. You know, what they look like, just sort of the way they're smiling and smirking and their energy and their witchcraft. That's more traumatic. You don't really get to see half of the trauma I endure. The amount of, you know, thoughts and emotions they project to me, trying to literally control what my basic, even just my basic behavior, just walking. They tell me where to walk. I get thoughts telling me, go this way, go that way, go this way. Today, God taught me to just stop. Every few minutes, especially when the energy is so heavy, just stop and observe. I always ignored this energy and these demons and these humans who are possessed. They just harass me with vehicles and every way they just could pass by you, whether it's a bicycle or someone walking by. They drive reckless. They drive towards you. They intentionally commit crime just so police would come, and now police have an excuse to be around me because the goal is to accuse me of being mentally ill, a criminal, etc. All the things they would always accuse a prophet of. And every instance where they harass me, like employees would harass you because they're trying to prevent me from getting a job, or maybe I'm the customer, etc., and I'm trying to get a service. In order to cover up the fact that they acted inappropriate, disrespectful, perverted, disgusting, they lied, they manipulated, they're going to somehow portray me like a dumb, stupid person who didn't understand something. To cover up the fact that they're lying when I'm constantly correcting them, you know, and I'm constantly repeating what I just told them because they just lied and I'm correcting them. They act like you're stupid. So that's what a psychopath is. They deflect their own qualities to you. You know, they're mentally deficient. They're psycho, get it? So you have to document, and that's what I'm doing. I'm not someone that would, just because I came to help people spiritually, like prophets maybe used to, right? Calling them to morality. I'm not going to obviously forgive things. I don't believe in that nonsense. I believe in accountability and punishment. You know, everyone has to go through some compensation or, towards me, or I have to take some legal action to some degree. I have to expose them because that is the morality, the righteousness that God gave me, that I'm trying to teach others, to always hold others accountable. That is actually what we're supposed to do. Otherwise, you're letting it, get away. They're honestly going to go on with their life thinking they just abused someone and they just got away with it. That's dangerous. They should be scared to do that again because we punish them. You agree? So always hold people accountable. Deep in your heart, what you forgive is your problem. That doesn't mean you don't punish. And we're also helping them. We're giving them a chance to reflect. Otherwise, they're just going to go on and on and on doing that every day. And their soul is just going to be completely destroyed. They'll never have the ability to ever repent. So you're also helping them. But also because for your own vengeance, for your own right as a human being to get your right. For others to come to you and say, we're sorry. We saw what they did to you. You need that emotional apology, that sort of emotional love to be given to you from others, and sometimes from the one who harassed you. So they have to show some remorse, some guilt, something from third parties who understand you're the victim. Because we could care less about the bad one showing remorse. Only really weak humans like that. They're always obsessed with criminals not being remorseful. Well, what's wrong with you? Why do you care what they feel? Just punish them and move on. Why are you attached to them like you love them or something? We need third parties to come to us and at least protect their character and not allow us to be defamed, and actually tell everyone we're the victim. That helps our psychological health. Being accused is very emotionally and psychologically damaging to the brain. Very traumatic. That's why they accuse us. Anyone who's ever been accused of anything, they know how damaging that is to your mind, these demons. Just gather evidence right from the beginning. And don't think you're sort of too extreme when you think, right, you'll be harassed again when you feel like you will be because you're seeing similar toxic humans. The thoughts, there you go, from the demon will try to blend with you and tell you no. Don't do that, etc., blah, blah, blah. It's not, because they don't want you to protect yourself. They don't want you to have evidence. How are people going to believe, right, if they don't have evidence? It's just going to look like you're complaining. So I'm sorry it went on this long. That's kind of what I'm going through, so I guess I'm venting. I'm expressing the difficulties I'm going through. These relentless situations where I'm always harassed by being accused when others are harassing me. And either I expose them or they just feel like accusing me to either way cover up that situation. Do you know how much trauma I have then? I mean, I'm fine. I don't have like any sort of traumatic responses or anything. I just mean how much trauma, I've endured just overall as a human being. Everywhere I go, being harassed, being accused, And when I try to maybe report this one, another incident happens that delays that. They always try to incarcerate me illegally just to protect whoever I was about to, right, expose, etc. But obviously, they're not going to get away with taking my freedom away again or anything. God is not going to put me in that situation again. If it was easy to put me in jail, I would have been in jail 50 billion times by now. It's not possible, Something only God did to me. These demons don't have the power to do anything just on their own. And with the power God gave them, they still can't even set me up. I'm too intelligent for that. Because I have certain qualities that allow me to even know what's going to happen before it happens, you know? So it's easy for me to prevent something. That didn't even happen yet. I can just leave the environment. The demons are confused. You know, the human is just absence, like a dead shell. They're just going to talk and behave exactly as the spirit in their body wants to. So sometimes you can't even stop them unless you say certain things. Like, be professional. I said that very recently and it really worked. They shut up after first defending themselves and stuff. They'll shut up when they see you're not going to then argue with them. So things are getting so extreme because it's almost the time that God will help me get out of this situation, is what I'm saying. But getting out of this situation doesn't mean it's over for me overall. Because I just feel like this suffering God chose for me is just, you know, it's like, it's just my life. He doesn't want me to have certain things. He doesn't want me to have certain carnal or materialistic things that you maybe would expect me to be using at this moment in my life. Secondly, I don't even want them, so it's fine. But even the ones I wanted, and I complain a lot to him a lot, he just doesn't. So it's like I'm becoming more emotionless. I'm losing the ability to care. You know? I'm becoming more and more aggressive. That is starting to scare the hell out of me. Not dead or unhealthy or anything like that. Not unhealthy. Since God is making me this way, it's not unhealthy. You know, I can see something funny and I will laugh as if I've been happy all my life. You're never gonna think I'm suffering. You know, I'm always smiling. I'm always happy. It's just my personality. You know, which is another thing these demons are trying to hide from people. You know, just how loving and just empathetic and kind I am. By always trying to steal my joy, the things I need in this life, you know, that you would say can be taken from people, like materialistic things, right? Or the fact that you're a good person, they accuse me and defame my character. That takes away your emotional health. You're just obviously going to have a lot of emotional distress from being accused of things you didn't do. All that, they just hope to break you down. They hope you just crumble. You know, they do that to the entire human race, but for me, it's 24/7. Well, for them, you know, humans, obviously, once in a while. So for that reason, because I've noticed that my life is going in a direction that even I can't understand. Even I don't understand where God is taking me. I just want you to forget me. I want you to just pray. If you've been following my podcast, I want you to just go to God and find him and worship him one day. 10 times better. And don't be like the dead human beings every day with walking bodies. Don't ever go into sin, and whatever sin you have, leave it. Because you're not like me. If you ask God for certain things or for help or for your carnal needs, he will give it to you. You're just a regular human. But someone like me, I have to embark on a weird life and not the life a regular human goes through because I'm not a regular human. For that reason, I came to help people. Something I still have to decide because I don't even want to do it. I tell God all the time, I'm not doing anything. Because I'm so angry with what I've gone through. I'm like, I don't want to do anything. Not because I don't care about the human race and don't want to help them. It's because the suffering is unbearable. That I don't want to do anything. And there's so much anger I have. And I can't see how he's going to resolve that for me. And it seems like it'll only be resolved in the next life. In Judgment Day, when everyone will be punished in hell for all the evil they did to me. It's like, I can't see that happening here. And I want to see it here. I want God to punish these humans who terrorize me every day. They just don't know me, get it? They just don't have the power to target me. I'm someone they're scared of. But they do that to people every day. They are already humans who are capable of that conduct. Therefore, when God gives the devil more power to persecute me, like a prophet, to teach me the things I know today, and for whatever reasons I still don't know why he's putting me through this, those humans are going to be possessed to do things that are very harmful and criminal and bad and torturous to the mind. Okay, so they're still guilty. They're just not doing it to me. They don't know me. It's just not personal to me. They're possessed and blind. I want God to punish them in this life. I don't want you to be someone that hurts people. That then someone would tell God, please don't let that human ever breathe. Don't be someone God complains about, because you've hurt them so much. And if you've done things like that already, don't just repent, because that's not fair. What did you do for the victim? Do what you can for those people that you've hurt, to get their forgiveness, to make their life easy. You've done something, then you can really move on with your life. Because repenting to God is between you and him, because you also angered him. But what about the people you hurt? There are people you'll never see, right? Like a stranger you cussed out. Well, then pray for them. You get me? That's like you compensated them. You prayed for them. They got a blessing or something. Like that. Like that. It's like you giving them money or charity to say sorry. But instead, it's a spiritual sort of compensation. You prayed for them because you'll never see them again. People you can actually connect and communicate with, even if it's one time. You can just send them a letter of apology and seek their forgiveness. You don't have to wait for their reply, right? Because that's not fair to those who don't want to message you back. Just do what you need to do to at least express that seeking of forgiveness from others. Just like we seek forgiveness from God, we're supposed to seek forgiveness from his creation. So do that, and then your heart will be able to move on. You've done your part. Whether they forgive you or not is their right. But at least they saw that. It makes a difference. Especially if they're going through a hard time. They're going to feel much better. Because all human beings were all literally nothing but this sort of box of emotion. Right? We're always feeling something, whether it's happy or mad or sad. We're always in some emotional state. So our emotions are very important. And that's why almost 80% of the attacks the devil does is our mind. All human beings who are suffering today from what they call mental illness and stuff, mental problems. It's just they're either possessed by demons or they're being tormented mentally by demons at an extreme level. Because that literally makes up your identity as a creation. Your mind controls who you become and what you do and how you wake up and behave that day. If you're miserable as hell, how are you going to live? So people need God, not just because he created us, but also because your mind is always under attack. Getting demons out of your body, only God can do that. Even if people were to cast it out, like, get out of this body now. And even if they were to do that sort of prayer, where they're telling demons to get out of your body, God is making them get out of your body, not the person. So if you're possessed and you want help, or maybe you even wanted help from someone like me who knows how to do that, and obviously I cannot meet you, God is going to do that for you. You can just ask him to get demons out of your body, and miraculously, you'll wake up one day and they're gone. I truly believe in that. God just created a process to teach his creation how to do these things. You know? Just so that we as human beings can help each other, just like any other way we already help each other. Just so that sort of emotional satisfaction we can have over demons, where we have some power over them, makes us feel good, right? But we're not obviously supposed to rely on that one way he taught us. The best official way, I know it seems very difficult to believe he'll do it, is to ask him to get the demons out of you. You know, pray to him to get witchcraft and these demons who, terrorize your life out of you. Like if you're always dealing with poverty, or if you're always dealing with some sort of addiction. Okay, you have demons making you always have problems. You get me? They're just not persecuting you. You're just going to have normal experience with people, but, right, you're still being tormented by them. Every human is. I'm going to upload one episode where I compile all these prayers in a really easy, short way. Just do it every single day, morning and night, or 3 times a day. Just do it for a few days. I promise you, God has showed me. It just didn't happen for me because I have that unique life. But regular humans, they will be delivered or free. Such as if you have bloodline curses or generational curses where you're having the same problems as your family. They were sort of struggling with poverty, now you are. They were alcoholics, now you are, you know? That's it. You have a bloodline curse on you. There's demons who always want to make you live as if you're cursed, as if you have the same sort of problems as them. Like that. Those demons will leave you. Your bloodline will be free. It means humans in your bloodline way early did something really bad. You know, they raped someone, they killed someone, they did witchcraft, very high level transgression or high level crime or sin in God's eyes. Because sin is low, medium, and high. The highest would be perversion, like raping, molesting someone. You know, after that, things like violence, like killing someone, you know, slavery, things like that. Sorry, slavery will be next to rape and stuff because it's objectification to the body. You know, it means that's the type of families you came from. Just the government didn't catch them. So wherever you go, you're just going to struggle in life. But the demon helps them because they obviously do his dirty work. They're evil as hell. So it helps them a little bit. It doesn't torture them so much with jobs and stuff. They probably have some job, but you know they're poor. You know they're struggling. You know they're not like other people who are okay. And, right, some of those other people could also have bloodline curses, like the psychopaths and narcissists who steal our jobs every day and other things in society, you know? So it's not always going to be that the human doesn't get materialistic things if they have a bloodline curse, you know? It's just some people will do that to them, and some human beings, demons will actually give them a lot of wealth, you know, like the politicians. And they'll use them to hurt humanity more. It just depends how it affects you. So, I'm sorry it's so long. Maybe you didn't even get to this point. But this is basically my last message to you. God is taking me places I don't want you to even know. It's depressing. It's just nothing but suffering. And I could care less if tomorrow something good happens. I don't even want anything from him anymore. You know, I've reached that type of feeling state. I've suffered so much, I could care less what I get. I don't want anything from him anymore. I'm just tired of it. You know, I still worship him. I'm never going to leave him. I always repent if I say anything I, didn't mean to say. It doesn't mean I become bad to God. It just means I'm not happy. You know, I want you to separate that. As a human being, if obviously other humans will be unhappy with God, their reason will be different. Don't ever lose your relationship with him. But allow yourself to feel what you feel, because God does not have psychopathic qualities of trying to take away your right to be your authentic self, such as these demons tried to do, which comes out of humans who are narcissistic, psychopathic, and anyone who's just a bad human. And any sin you've committed against others, repent for it. Anywhere you've mistreated a human being, anywhere you've done something you're ashamed of, well, use me as example. The way when I talk about humans who harass me, how you don't like that. You shouldn't like it when you hurt people, obviously. You should feel ashamed of yourself. Repent. Seek forgiveness from those people if they're visibly able to be contacted. Do your part. Ask God to tell you what to do about certain situations where you have to do more than that. If you've committed a crime, you should turn yourself in. That's what someone who really wants to change will do. Not hide and avoid punishment. That's what it means to be evil. You don't like to be punished for what you did. Someone who truly wants to be good wants to beat themselves up for what they did to others that would normally elicit that. You get me? Because they have the quality of now being humble and being good in that sense. Allow yourself to feel guilt and shame. The good one that God created that makes you want to never do it again, makes you loving and empathetic now. Just not going to be as perfect as a person who was loving all their life, that loving. You're not going to have that one. You're just not that clean. You can be moral. You can be good. You can never want to do that again. You could hate it to death. And that's what we want. That's what God wants. As long as you use your guilt and shame in this direction and not to self-harm and make things worse, well, you did excellent. You know, you passed the test, even though you failed at 50%. You passed that at midway. You made a U-turn when you were 50% way towards hellfire or more. It's better than nothing, right? It's better than you 100% going straight to hell, never changing, never repenting. This time where there's a lot of people dying, because, right, it's just time for a lot of people to die, and they're not repenting, they're not changing. They're just wasting their energy standing in streets, protesting and screaming all day. They don't use their time and energy in large numbers to actually bring all their resources and money together and actually help whoever they're fighting for every day. Because they're not real good people who care about those people, like Palestine. Therefore, they're just going to act criminal and crazy and make the country more chaotic and more dangerous and more unsafe. Real good people are not here. Don't think those people actually are good and care about Palestine or other people who are protesting every day. Some of them, like those who are fighting for abortion, obviously care about that situation. That's why you don't see them ever doing anything bad when they protest. But these human beings, when you look at them, you know they're not obviously moral people, but they're fighting for Palestine. You're thinking, why are they so extreme? They're not even good people themselves. They're usually the ones who are supposed to be distracted in society, just typical young people who just waste their life away, very arrogant. They have everything given to them. They're not people who are conscious of anything that would make them care about such important things in life. You know, they're very young usually. Like, what do they know that they would care about these big political things? They've never even suffered in their life. You know, a lot of them come from parents who took everything for them, like took care of them and stuff. It's because they're possessed. So the devil just uses them to go out and create chaos. It's not about morality. Therefore, at some point, they're going to hurt someone. They're going to be racist. They're going to be violent. They're going to commit a crime. They're going to do something bad when they're acting like they're actually trying to, you know, speak about oppression. They're going to then at some point oppress someone. You get me? Because they're not moral. They're not trying to bring attention to something important. So since they don't have good intention, because they're actually just puppets to the devil to create more death in this world, more violence, more people going outside, acting crazy, making it easy now for the devil to then tell the government, go, arrest them all, beat them all. Just more crime, more death, more disaster, more incarceration. Because a lot of these people, it's their time to die. You get me? The world is about to end soon, so a lot of people are going to die. Unless they're careful and they connect with God and they're using their time wisely, they're going to die exactly the way the devil wants them to die. Useless situations. Wasting their energy. Instead of coming together, using all the money they have, all the resources they have to actually donate to Palestine or donate to other people, creating an organization, helping. You get me? What actually people do when they care about you and you're being oppressed. They do the best they can to give you what you need to survive. Since they cannot physically bring you to their country or whatever, you send them what you can. You maybe find a country somewhere in this world that has a place that's empty, somewhere in this world that's not taken by a country, and build some right? Place for them to then relocate to. No one ever thinks of that. So we don't have good people. We just have ignorant human beings. It's easy to push them to be obsessed with a certain subject, you know? And they act like they're perfect at it. They're experts at it. They act like it's their problem. Sometimes it's not. It's from a different race or group, what they're fighting for. And they don't, it's not from a place of humanity. You can tell they're obsessed with the subject, like it's their problem. And you start to get confused. You know, you don't feel humbled and happy that they care, because you can tell it's not care. You can tell it's like some job they're told to do or something, like go and scream about this issue, you know, because they're just puppets to the devil, you know. And some of them are ignorant and misguided and really would love to help, and they're just going to be dragged into these unhealthy ways of expressing your desire to stop oppression for another group. You're not supposed to create chaos in your own place. That doesn't mean that they do peaceful protesting. That's just a waste of time. People should come together. That type of maybe protesting, like just come together, but sit somewhere. Don't walk around and scare the hell out of people. Because even if you don't have bad intention, criminals can easily enter because it's a crowd. It's easy to hide and hurt people. So you're not supposed to do things that would make it easy for criminals to take advantage of your environment and commit crime using your name. They can't say they don't know. They see that all the time. Criminals take advantage of these large moments where humans come together. It's better to come together to bring solutions and ideas and talk to people. If they're like, well, they don't listen to us. Exactly. Then you guys come together and you guys come up with ways to help that group that is oppressed. Help each other and stop running around the streets creating chaos and making everything shut down for people who really need to work or really need to go to that school or really need to live their life. You cannot stop other people from living just because somewhere in this world someone's being bombed. We can care about each other, but God did not create us to stop living. We're supposed to help each other so we can all move on and live again. Correct? You have a job. You have to go to your job to survive, not because you don't care about those people being oppressed. You get me? So you're hurting people's jobs then if you're in the street, terrorizing that airport or whatever. Someone really has to travel, maybe to go actually help someone. These are not the people of God, nor do they care about morality or humanity. They're just kids. They're just young people who are misguided. Their energy could be used for good things if they had proper leaders who really are from God, or just decent human beings who are wise enough. And the devil knows that, so he's trying to use them so much, hoping that a lot of them just die and bad things happen to them before those good people come out to really be leaders one day. Because leaders always come out. It takes time sometimes. This was not supposed to be 48 minutes long by now. I just want you to know that I've thought about it for months and months and months. Basically about regarding you or how I can ever help you in this life. And I'm just going to leave you to God. I'm going to give you up to Him. Whatever plan He has for you, I hope you don't lose that good plan. I hope you build a good relationship with Him. Take all the advice I ever told you, such as praying really like bluntly to Him. Don't just be like, God, help me. Be specific with what you want. Not that He's dumb and won't do it, but it's just the way He created things. You know, when you ask specifically for things, it actually happens. You get me? That's part of the worship He wants. He wants to be worshipped that way. If He delays you, just be patient. But I want you to never personally wait. Don't wait for anything. Just go and do whatever you're supposed to do to fix the problems in your life, such as what I try to do. I just get retaliated and harassed and sabotaged. Still, I do it again. I get up again. All these sort of suffering that I go through from these demons that no one can even see has psychologically obviously hold me back with a lot of fear and anxiety, because I know what's going to happen before it even happens. I know this human's going to harass me like this way and not that way. I know they're going to lie about me in this situation before they even did it. That causes more stress. Do you agree? I've chosen to overcome that and just connect it to what I saw them as before I realized, oh, God taught me that they're demons. The way I saw them when I was younger, they're just bad humans. Correct? Because, yeah, you're possessed to harass me. You're still a bad human either way. You do that anyway. That's why you're possessed to then do that. So, you get me? If I connect it to their problem, they're bad, they're evil, there's something wrong with them. Now they can't project that to me. They can't make it something about me that I'm always harassed. That you get me? Like somehow make it my problem. They can't make it seem like it's my fault. They can just make it seem like it's my problem. But people who go through huge abuse, demons obviously make it seem like it's their fault. They attack your mind with that nonsense. Only a weak person would believe that, but a healthy person like me is not going to believe that. So they can't do that to me. They try to make it seem like it's my problem. You get me? Like I'm some sort of poor victim, you know? Everywhere I go, these demons have control over my life. They can just do this, do that. Muslims don't know. They can't even help me or be like, who are you? Why are you going through what only our prophets went through? No one can figure anything out about me because God won't even let them find my podcast. It's just that sort of story. You get me? That sort of depressing story. I'm not going to listen to that anymore. It was in my head because demons put that into my head. I didn't put that into my head. I've always been happy and optimistic. Even when I didn't know what the hell was bothering me all these years. Every stranger just harasses me. I never let that affect me or get into my identity. You get me? Only when I realized they're demons, then it started to actually enter into my identity, that this is who you are. God is going to always make you suffer. Blah, 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 blah. As if I don't have the power to just go out there and do the best I can. So I'm just going to go do the best I can. But I'm also going to acknowledge the fact that God has a plan that includes a lot of suffering. That's not then me being depressing. That's just me being truthful. You get me? I have to acknowledge what type of life I was given. It's not normal. But I also have to acknowledge that in many ways I could have prevented a lot of things if I just went out and did the best I could and not let fear control me, not think that God actually wanted me to wait for him in situations maybe I was supposed to go do something. I mean, that's very rare. I've always done what I'm supposed to do. I just don't get help from him in those situations. It's not really my fault. I'm saying small situations where maybe I'd normally say something, do something. I've just learned to just ignore these crazy human beings. I'm not going to do that anymore because then it gives the demon more permission to then act crazy around me all the time. But if I stop treating them like demons and I treat them like a human, then they're going to start to actually act like a human. Do you get me? The demon gets to come out of them based on sort of the way you treat the human. You know? You actually hold them accountable that moment like you normally would, without being scared of them lying about you, accusing you, retaliating. You document, you do things in a proper way. You're smart about it. You're not obviously, jumping into situations. And they're going to fear you and leave you alone over time, just like a bully does. I don't have to care. A lot of things are witchcraft. Like vehicles, when they're driving, they put witchcraft on the vehicle. It's like this weird... I can see the demons making the human drive really quickly and putting themselves in danger. It's insanity. I can stop seeing that if I want. I can stop, my mind from seeing that by slowing down. Because they do that when I walk. But if I stop my walk, or I take breaks as I walk, then I can make it better for myself. You get me? I should not have to do that, obviously. I should just walk, right? I know, but I'm a spiritually awake person. I'm going to see the demonic. I'm going to see what that human is actually feeling, even though I can't see what they're doing in their car. And if I look at them, boom, they look right at me, even though they're speeding and they're driving and they need to look ahead. Their demon will possess them to just turn their neck and irritate me even more. It's crazy. They don't even get into accidents because they protect them somehow. Like that. I'm not going to let that control me anymore. You get me? I'm just going to protect myself from the ones who are really criminal, like these cops who intentionally follow me around, constantly patrol my neighborhood for no reason, just terrorizing. Every time I come outside, they come from 4 sides. Like that. I'm not going to treat that as demons anymore. I'm going to treat them as human, so I can actually record them and pull out my phone and stop doing what I used to do when I was young, which is something like that. Since I don't have someone with me, because that's when the harassment would disappear. If I had people in my life, these demons terrorize me because I'm alone. If I had even one person with me, they'd stop bothering me. If I have a coworker with me, that manager would not act disrespectful. It's like they can only bother me if I'm alone. So that's why they isolate me from people. Because they're scared of other people knowing I'm different and I'm being terrorized by something that only a prophet would go through. Something that then would mean I'm different to people. And people try to figure out who I am to God. And the goal is to hide me, basically. Again, God is allowing it to happen. So it's not really demons doing it. It's just simultaneously they're allowed to also be part of that way where they're hiding who I am. But they cannot bother me if people are with me. So if I pull out my phone, okay, that cop is not going to approach me. He's not going to swerve his vehicle when I'm just minding my business and try to question me and bother me and profile me. You get me? And try to commit a crime. They feel so confident when they see me by myself. Like that. I'm going to start treating things as human, and what a human would advise me to do to protect myself. That's what I'm going to do from now on. And I'm going to stop acting like I have to always be spiritual with them. Because they use human tactics and they use spiritual tactics, these demons. You know, they don't only act like demons, they also act like human. So I have to do both. And I want you, all of you human beings who could listen to this, to also do the same. Evil humans are possessed. When they're bothering you, apply prayer, do spiritual things. You know, but also do what you got to do to deal with the humans, such as reporting them and taking legal action. You have to expose bad people. That's how we can intimidate them collectively to go back and stop being so confident to commit crime and terrorize people everywhere they go. If every time they do something bad, they get reported. It does something, you know, like a ripple effect. Just like every day when they get away with crime, it does a ripple effect and they just get worse in the street. Other humans just come out committing crime like that. Because demons are taking note of that and they're bringing them out, or they're not letting them come out because they're scared. Because they hate to be exposed, even though they're invisible. They don't like these humans getting punished, because then the demon cannot physically make them go into society and hurt people. They have to be locked up with them, you know. They can't leave that human. They're stuck with them. So that's why then they use them to commit crime and wherever they're locked up in, right? And obviously God wants to change how humans have prisons and jails. They should not mix those people, those evil human beings. They should be separated, so then obviously crime doesn't happen there. A place that was supposed to prevent crime. You know, they're supposed to all be locked up. If everyone was given their privacy, who would harm anyone? So insane. It's because the devil wants it to happen. So governments will not protect inmates from each other. They'll mix them as if there's some normal people in a public society. Aren't they murderers and rapists? Why should they enter a big lobby cafeteria together? What are you thinking is going to happen? So it's just solutions like this to humanity that God is basically teaching me as I go through nonsensical things every day that are just torturous and would make anyone not want to be part of this life anymore. Sometimes you gotta put a curse on yourself, like saying things like, oh God, I'll kill myself if you don't do this for me. You have to renounce it and actually say, my Lord, I come against those words that I've said over my life or myself. I repent for those, sins, because it's not good to obviously kill yourself. I repent for that. I reject it. I renounce it. I disagree with it. I will live without demons projecting that to me. I will not have premature death and suicide and evil happen to me. By your will, your mercy, I believe you'll protect me. You're saying good things about God like that he'll help you. And right, you go against whatever could have made you die early. And obviously things that you don't control, like someone killing you, you ask God to protect you from that. Obviously you're not saying I will not die, right, as if you get to control that. No, you're saying I will not die, I will not have evil happen to me that will cause premature death, because you will protect me. You get me? You're saying God is going to protect you is the reason. You're not attributing it to yourself. So you're praising him, but it's also a prayer. That actually is what becomes your reality. You actually will not die from premature death. You get me? What you say, that's why it's so important. It can be a curse upon yourself, or it can be a prayer for yourself. So demons know that, and they're always saying bad things to us. So when strangers come to you and they say horrible things to you, right? What if someone says, I'll shoot you? What if someone says, this will happen to you? What if someone says, you'll never get married? They put a curse on you, even if they didn't know. Their demon did it and made them say that. So you have to remember all the times that humans have said things like that to you. You don't have to obviously, right, keep account of them. It just means, just remember it. I'm sure it happened to you, right? Okay. So therefore, it happened to you then. But 2, actually tell God, when you're praying to him, my Lord, all word curses and witchcraft that humans and demons and others have ever put on me, I ask you to break that off of me right now. And I right now break them off and separate them from myself in your mighty name. Like that. You can break it off of yourself by using his name. I would finish that sentence by saying, in your mighty name, Allah. Because what is his mighty name, right? You can say in your mighty name, and God obviously accepts that too. Just do the best you can for yourself. And if you are not willing to do something, you have to tell God you're not willing to do it. Sometimes he just delays you. He makes you think you're going to get out of a situation like he made me think. Because I really reached my limit. He sort of distracted me by making it seem like he was helping me get my breakthrough this month, but I didn't. It doesn't mean he lied or anything. It's just, you get me? He distracted me. He made me think I was getting help, but I knew I wasn't, because everything that came to me wasn't a blessing. It wasn't what I prayed for. It was just what demons would usually try to offer me, bad things to replace what obviously I would have picked if I had a choice. And I kept telling God, is this my breakthrough? Is this what you're giving me? This has got to be a joke. It cannot be from you. You know what I mean? So, it's obvious it's not from him, because all it did is make me suffer more, just like when I was already suffering. I just don't understand then what he's going to do. You get me? I don't actually know if he's going to give me what I asked for, if he's going to do something else. Because he doesn't have to always give you what you asked for. What if he has something better, right? So you don't know, and that's what I'm saying. You do your part. You do the best you can to get out of your situation. You have to become a fighter. But then still pray to him. Because it's just one of those things he does. Literally the whole reason he created us. He puts you through suffering. He wants you to worship him. You're not going to be like, what's going on here? Why is God doing that? I say, actually, why we're here. If we had everything, then it's like there's no need to pray to him. You agree? So that's why he takes things away. It's a season. So you'll be fine. But for me, it's 24/7. Ever since I was born, this is all I experience. I'm always going through the same cycle of demons just controlling what I have in this life. They steal everything. So I'm someone that has a dilemma that you don't ever have to experience. And I'm happy you don't have to. This is not something I would want a human to ever go through. So for that reason, I'm going to end it with this. I think I'm going to end this podcast, and I don't really see what else I would talk about going forward. At least I explained a little bit of the end of the world, what's happening, so it connects to what's going on in this world today. Some guidance at least you'll have. And humans already have a lot of knowledge from, the last two scriptures of God that are still corrupted either way, the Quran and the Bible. They have a little bit of, the end of the world, some things that people believe are going to happen, So whatever knowledge God gave them too, through those books, the little bit of truth that's still in them, despite their corruption, a lot of them are using that to their advantage too. Mine is something only some people will get to hear who are following the podcast, who are a few people, because God is not exposing me yet. So you get to have more knowledge than them, because I get to sort of show you what's going on behind what's happening in the world, while for them, they just think, right, humans are doing everything, and that's it. They don't get to understand why and what's wrong with them. So basically, I hope to leave this country very soon. No matter what happens, as I was saying earlier, you should just do what you want and stop being scared of what God is going to do and being afraid of Him and waiting for Him. That's not how He created us. He created us to just go at our own free will and do what we can. He's going to do His own thing, And through that, He's already using you to, right, get you to have what He wanted for you anyway. What He gives you, that will that wants to just help yourself, Because that quality He gave it to us anyway. Everything we have is from Him that's good anyway. Obviously, He created evil too, but He doesn't teach us to be evil. So basically, it's like a goodbye, but this time I don't want it to be depressing or sad, or because, oh, whoa, I'm going through hell. Not in that sort of depressing way, but literally because I just want you to understand, because I'm so different, I don't want you to really expect anything from me. Not that you do. We're not in contact anyway, obviously for a reason. I'm just saying, it's sort of like the way I was praying for you and leaving you messages sort of made you think something, right? Made you think a certain thought. I just want you to not anticipate that. I don't want you to anticipate anything or think of anything when it comes to me. Like my future is so unpredictable, you don't even want to think about it. Even I can't predict what's going to happen to me. Even I can't even assess where God is taking me. It's so confusing. And I'm a logical, creation, like the way I was created. The emotional part that humans have, I don't really have that. I'm always logical. So, 24/7, all I do is just question God. I'm just logical. The emotional part is not there. So for that reason, I can't even use all the logic in the world to figure out what in the world's going on. It's just a little bit of that sort of common sense. If you could see me every day, what I go through, you can kind of get, right, where God is taking me, obviously. Clearly shows He has some unique plans for me, and I can't just live a normal life, is what I'm saying. Otherwise, He would have just created me like a normal person. He didn't, for a reason. You get me? If the world is about to end, if everything that I would normally assess or use in this country or this world, the devil is being allowed to destroy it, right? The economy, the wealth, the education, everything I would use to do something with, to help myself and others, if everything's crumbling, then I don't even know why God inspired me to start all these businesses and all these things. It's like, I don't understand how we're going to accomplish anything if the devil is being allowed to destroy this world. Exactly. And if I use my mind, I obviously could conclude something will happen where God will allow me to obviously still accomplish that, because God is not a liar. I know, and I know, but I don't understand. And I'm angry because I don't understand, because I'm just a creation. And since I can't share my testimony right now or show sort of evidence of all the crimes and evil that has been done to me all my life, you know, especially for Muslims, since I'm Muslim, you know, they're the first group that obviously should know I'm going through something like this, but because God is not ready, even I'm not ready, I wouldn't even want to meet with them or talk to them or tell them anything. And I also would want time to myself to just get away from everything, because I'm so, you know, I've suffered so much from abuse that I just want to get away. I just want to be alone. But what are they going to do for me? What is this Muslim, you know, Muslims all over, I was going to say Muslim Ummah. Ummah means like community, but like a large number, you know, like the whole populations of Muslims. Like, what are they going to do for me? God is literally controlling everything that happens to me. What can you do for me? Nothing. You cannot save me even if I tell you my directions to where I am. He'll just blind you. It's like he wants to keep me to himself. It's very sweet, but it's very scary at the same time. Because it always feels like he's just going to do what he wants and not what I want. And I've seen many ways where he just does not want to do what I want. And I don't ever want to, you know, treat God like he's evil or anything. But it's very, very hard not to get mad at him. If you knew what he put me through, you would really struggle with faith. You would really struggle with worshiping him. So, and it seems like my voice is cracking or whatever. I'm not crying or emotional. It's just, I've developed a sort of deep voice, obviously, because of sort of like the life I've lived. It seems like my voice is really deep. Of course, that's maybe just the way my voice has become over time. But you know what I mean? Sometimes you can tell someone's voice maybe is a bit too low, right? I'm not sad right now. I'm not crying or anything. That's just the way I've become because of all the suffering I've gone through. I have to use my words carefully. I don't know what to call it. I'm just going to call it suffering. Suffering would not really do justice. What I go through is nonsense. You know, the power these demons are allowed to have over my life is so extreme. You would just be like, I am not going to live this life. I'm done. So I always inspire you guys to never self-harm and always do the best you can to pray for yourself. You're different than me. God actually will get you out of your situations. You're not the average human. When they suffer, and God obviously does come and help them. You know, you're supposed to suffer in situations that have a meaning or something, etc. Or it's a situation you got into because of just ignorance on your part, or the devil got you stuck in that situation. It's different. You can actually get out of it. You know? For me, it's like, it's that strange divine type of situation. And because I can't tell anyone who I am, it seems sort of arrogant. But I have to be honest. This is the life I'm living. Something no human has to experience except people like prophets, even though, as I keep saying, I'm not a prophet or messenger. And that's also another reason why it's so hard. Because I obviously don't want to live their life. I would not want their life. So basically, whatever passions or whatever desires I've ever had, I've had a lot. I'm basically that sort of bubbly kid as I was growing up all these years. Even when I was a young adult, I had that bubbliness. I was just always happy and excited because I have a lot of dreams. And God just never allowing me to even touch 0.1% of it obviously breaks my heart. Now, again, this is not to put you down, your ability to have faith in God, right? If I'm trying to teach you, obviously, have a relationship with him. I have to be realistic with sometimes what God does. You get me? He actually breaks the person. He destroys the person. Saying that doesn't mean, right, we're somehow insulting him. No, he does that. He hurts us a lot. We're not going to sit here and act like that's not what he does, you know? It's just everyone has a certain level. Some suffer worse than others. And please don't believe people who just suffer a lot in life that they're like me or something, that God did that to them. No. 90, no, not 90, I would say 80% of suffering humans go through is actually their own fault. They just make bad decisions. They sin. They hurt others. They're suffering because of their own conduct. They're suffering because they're not doing what they're supposed to do. You know? But I'm talking about a situation where God is putting me through exactly what he put the prophets through. Same way demons terrorize them, always trying to accuse them of things like mental illness and being a criminal and being bad. And it's just that at least they were known to the community and they were spreading the truth about God, and that's why they got attacked. And that's why they obviously got attacked with those accusations. Well, for me, I didn't even do anything about religion, and I'm already being persecuted by such demons who did that to them. So for me, it's harder. You get me? It's harder to be like, I'll be fine. I can't be fine. I'm pissed off. You know, but I understand, therefore, why God did it to me earlier, not later, because probably I'll be free from it later. But let's hope for that. And then also because probably later he wants me to actually, you know, spread this knowledge about his religion being corrupted. Okay, whatever he wants me to do. I don't know how much he wants me to ever embark on that information giving. So that would obviously mean that's why he wants me to go through this now. You get me? Because you have to learn stuff in order to expose how the devil lied about religion, like that. So it's like I'm not getting to the point. I keep talking about God and spirituality, even though this message is for you. This is what I'm saying. I have a hard time talking to you because this is not normal. I'm a private person. And also because of the way the last interaction was between you and me, you already know I would never have a reason to contact you again. I wouldn't have a reason. You get me? There's just no actual reason. So I'm just being forced to do this because I know it's possible that you've been following this podcast. So then when my life goes in a strange direction, God takes me in different directions. I at least want you to sort of anticipate that and just accept it. And I'm not saying you care. I'm just saying I just want you to understand, to not anticipate anything from me. Because I don't have the ability to give anyone anything right now. I don't want to be around this human race either. I just want to get away from them. I'm sick and tired of human beings. Because all demons are doing is they're just exposing to me or showing me what's wrong with the human race. It doesn't mean they're bothering me and I'm not supposed to take that against the human. No, it means when humans are possessed to harass me, it means they're actually like that. That's actually their quality. It's just coming out. It's just being exposed by their demon. So if I start to hate the human race, it's actually normal because they really are like this. They really are this evil and psychopathic and narcissistic and perverted and nasty and disgusting and envious. And if prophets were here, they would hate them and not help them and not work with them. You get me? It's just that they would obviously fear them because these are supernatural beings. They're powerful. I'm not someone you can mess with. I'm not someone you can harass either. You know, even though I'm not a prophet. So for me, they're not harassing me, which is something you do when you're not scared of someone. You're not harassing me because you're not scared of me. God is making you do it to teach me things. So I'm in a situation where my identity is taken away from me by God. My identity is taken. My reality is taken. What I would normally experience as my day-to-day experience with human beings. That's what I would call my reality. And I've obviously experienced that every now and then when demons are not allowed to terrorize me too much. Every month here or a few years in my past, every now and then, humans pass by me like a normal person. But at my level, you know, the way they a little bit see me, just not 100%. Let's say like 50%. And that would be they obviously be scared to death when they walking by me. They're not, you know, they're not too casual. They don't treat you like they're just walking by someone like themselves. And therefore, they're normal because they're not being used by the demon, but also they're extremely polite because they're fearful. So when God takes away their fear, and when God takes away their ability to even see me, just the way they even see just a human, just normal, just they don't conduct themselves like a human anymore. Their bad qualities come out. Imagine 24/7, every human being you interact with versus every now and then. 24/7, their bad qualities come out. Imagine how traumatic that is. You're always being harassed. But prophets, they were only harassed once in a while by this crazy lunatic over here. Okay, but all these people followed them and loved them here. So they get to have both sides, right? But for me, every single human being is harassing me 24/7. So I'm being harassed more than prophets were harassed. That's what I'm saying. It's worse for me because it's a higher level of witchcraft they have over my life. If I'm around a really good human being, really loving, okay, fine. But I don't get to see them. Yeah, the demon cannot use that one. But I don't see them. God does something supernatural or divine where I don't see them. It's just the average shallow human, and they're all possessed. Disrespectful, condescending, narcissistic, perverted, psychopathic, gaslighting, lying, accusing. That's all they do. That's how they treat me all the time. They're just nasty with their conduct. I can't even just walk by a sidewalk. They'll just try to get in your space. They'll just say something disgusting. They'll just stare at you with dark energy, evil eyes. Like, oh my God. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying I'm better than prophets. I'm just saying I actually am going through a persecution worse than they did. It's just that level where God obviously gave the devil power to sometimes act like he was trying to kill them. That's not something they can do to me. You get me? So that's where they obviously suffered more than me. But these demons do try to, obviously endanger my life. They just want to put me in jail to do so. They want to at least take me there and do things you would say are violent or bad in there. Because then they think I won't beat them up. Get it? It's criminal to do so. But a man is not going to come up to me and actually bother me. He knows I'll just kill him. That demon's scared, so he's not going to bring him to me. They want to basically touch you or attack you in a way that they know you won't attack or kill this human. And that's where? When it's a cop. When they're acting like you committed a crime, obviously you don't beat them up. You just go through the legal process and get your rights and come out, right? You don't kill everyone in that jail, do you? Who's trying to arrest you or whatever. You just go through the process, right? It's not a situation where you would beat a human up. So that's why they're always trying to put me in jail. They cannot just approach me and act sort of crazy or threatening. You get me? Because I'll just kill them. What are you going to do? I had the right to do so. It's self-defense. They cannot bother me then. They only try to act dominant when I'm in a jail or whatever. Or mental hospital. They think then, she won't do anything to us. We can try to drug her and accuse her of being mentally ill because she's doing the same work her prophets did. She's has a unique life like them. No one knows who she is, so we get to torture her for a while. When Muslims find out who she is, then, they can also be confused to some degree. It'll take them forever to figure out. Because God doesn't choose women to go through these things. It's just, it's so stressful thinking about it. I'm just going to let God do what he needs to do. I'm not going to question him anymore and try to figure out what's going on. What I want is just to get away. And even though I don't necessarily have the best resources to do that, because obviously I'm in bad situations, I know I'm strong enough. Because as human beings, we all have that sort of will, the will to do anything. I have the will, and I believe I have the will, just like I did all my life, to get through all this crazy stuff. I have the will to figure out a way to get the hell out of this situation. And just get out of this situation. You know, the suffering can continue. These demons can still follow me and bother me, but I can figure out a way to, you know, put them in their place, just like I did many times in my past, where they would fear me. They stopped harassing me in these extreme ways. They stopped bringing me these males who are perverted and trying to act like they actually targeting you or whatever. They wanted you to be confused when males can't treat me like that. So when I started to realize it's something that actually is acting that way, it's not really, right, insulting you. It's actually acting. It's like action and they act, you know? They just want me to react so they can make you look like a bad person to others. And so they can just act like a victim and just delay me from sort of having materialistic, worldly happiness. You get me? Because you went to jail or whatever. You didn't get to enjoy your life. I learned their pattern and I put them in their place. And I would see them physically shaking. You know, whether male or female, those human beings would physically shake. Many times they'd see me and they physically run away. I didn't do anything. It's because I was just expressing my natural self, my natural authentic self, my natural aggressiveness that humans don't have. You know, the intimidating quality I have is higher than yours. If you ever were acting intimidating, I don't have to act intimidating. I am intimidating. You get me? So the demons are scared of me, but if God gave them more power, then they can do things that seem like they're not scared of the person. No, yes, they are. It's only when God tells them to bother me. They can just bother me. That's it. It's like they can just do the behavior. But as they're maybe trying to grab me and arrest me, if I turn around, they're going to freeze for a couple of seconds. They're going to freak out. It's only with my permission. If I turn around and try to kill that officer, I will. I'm just not going to do that. You get me? So they think, yeah, we're going to get away with this then. You're never going to stop these criminals accusing you of something you didn't do. We're always going to have you in that trap, that box, therefore. Because we're not using regular humans committing crime. If you beat them up, people would call it self-defense, and we can't keep repeating this pattern for you. We're just going to use cops, who obviously, you know, no one considers it okay to beat them up when they're committing a crime, unless obviously they're trying to kill you in a way that is, you get me, you have to obviously protect your life in certain situations. You're not going to let them do everything, goodness. But just situations where they're just arresting you, that's not a big deal. You'll just get out of jail. Like that. They know you're not going to resist. They know you're just going to go through the jail process, just being arrested. So they think that one way they can come after me 24/7, a way where they know I'm not going to hurt that person in my self-defense. So that proves how scared they are of me. Why don't they just bring me a male who has a gun or something, who has a knife or whatever? They can't. They can't touch me. They have to use cops. People I would never hurt or fight with. You're just going to go through the legal process. So they think they can repeat that trauma for me, that are constantly arresting me for nothing. You know, it only happened one time because I'm very good at protecting myself, obviously. I'm hyper conscious of my environment in a way that you cannot even believe. God makes me look around randomly sometimes and I see something following me sneakily, and then they drive off, you know, or they walk off. Sometimes it's animals they're possessing, you know, like really dangerous, crazy looking dogs, not the normal ones that you would have as a pet. Like, they can't attack me. It's just they're just trying to be sneaky. They at least want to get close to me and freak me out or whatever. So I'm not arrogant. I'm just saying I'm not a regular human. I'm not someone you can attack. So I'm just saying, for that reason, demons always go around in these covert ways. You know? I just hope, I'm talking to you again, that you don't expect anything from me. Whatever you think God was trying to make happen, the sort of direction you thought he was leading a situation, please don't expect anything. And I don't think I can ever help you directly face to face. I thought God was just delaying it. No, I don't think it's possible. And you don't need me. He created you. He can fix your problems. But at the same time, I get dreams where it's obvious He wants me to do certain things to help you. And okay, I struggle with that. Because there are things that I just don't want to do. There are situations I don't want to be put in. Obviously, I can't explain what I'm talking about in this podcast, but there are situations I just don't want to be put in. I can feel God is going to push me to one day. I swear to God. I tell him every day, no. No, 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 no. Don't put me in that situation. I don't yell at him like that, obviously. I say please and I speak differently, but I always tell him, no, I'm not going to do these things. Nothing changes. But one thing God is not going to do is force you. He's not going to force me. He's just going to do that thing to your heart where he's tugging at it constantly, trying to get you to agree to take on this difficult, sort of mission or step, etc. You get me? I always get to choose, obviously. It's just that I can feel it. He's really trying to change my mind. God is like I don't know what he uses, right? Because only he knows what powers he uses. But whatever it is that he's trying to get me to do one day, sometimes, right, for the world, for others, every time I tell him I'm not going to do anything for human beings, I'm sick and tired of human beings, I just want to be alone, just let me go far away in some forest or whatever, just live until I die. Like, he does something to my heart. He tries to make me laugh, and random videos pop up, he's always trying to remind me of what he wants me to do. You get me? Like, no one's gonna force you, right? It's just he's trying to get me to sort of like be swayed by what he wants. So it's very hard. I don't actually know what I want to do anymore, because demons are attacking me with witchcraft, dragging me in this side, and God is always pulling me in this way. I'm just tired of it. I just want to be myself. But God has a plan for me and I don't like it. That's what I'm saying. I don't like it. And many people, right, obviously in their own way, God tells them sort of what plan he wants and they don't like it either. So humans can understand me, right? A lot of them who are at least have a relationship with God, who knows what God was pushing them to. But, obviously it's going to be different than what he's pushing me to. It's just at least that concept, right? Where he has a plan for someone and the person's not happy with it. Obviously, many humans who've experienced that. It is not funny or comfortable at all. I'm basically almost 30 now, and it's like, I just don't see. Like, I don't have any desires. I don't have anything. I don't want anything. I hate this age. I don't want to do anything after this. All these years I wanted to accomplish things. He didn't let me do anything. It's like that person where he wants you to have blessings and stuff at the end of your life. I don't like that. 'Cause I'm actually someone that likes to have certain things at a certain age. Because then I don't have a desire for it anymore. I don't like it anymore. I just want to live in peace then at a certain time. I don't want it. I just can't be specific about what I'm talking about, obviously. These are things that you can have at any age, okay? It's just, I don't want it. I'm different than all of you. I think differently. I don't desire a lot of the carnal things that humans desire. I just desire some basic things that are materialistic, because I just want to be happy, because they obviously make you happy. And God doesn't want to give them to me. And if he ever wants to give them to me in the future, I don't want it. You get me? So I'm pissed off because I don't want it in the future. So I'm just going to reject it if God offers it, is what I'm saying. I'm always gonna, right? I'm always gonna be there worshiping him. I'm never gonna go against him. It's just I don't want it. I'm mad at him at the same time is what I'm saying. It's not a sin to be mad at God because that's just an emotion, and he created that in us to feel our emotions towards him and his creation. You're just not supposed to speak or act inappropriate towards him. If you've done anything like that, you need to repent. He understands, obviously. If it wasn't, you get me? He obviously forgives humans way worse than that. You just don't want it to turn into a habit accidentally. The demon pushing that onto you all the time by just learning a different way to get angry, you know? Like silence. I just stopped talking. I just stopped constantly telling him what I want. And to some degree, it seems like a bad thing, right? Like you're disconnecting from him. No, it's like there's certain things you can tell God every day because that's actually you being loving towards him. You love him so much, you tell him your feelings. And there's certain things you just need to stop telling or talking about with him because, it's just one of those things that will hurt your heart. The more you talk about it, you're actually going to sin. You're actually going to get mad. You get me? It's going to just make things worse. It's one of those situations where on some level you can even tell he wants you to just go do what you can about that situation instead of just waiting for him only because he has his own timing. So that's another reason you wouldn't, keep talking about it. Because, you can just kind of go and do what you can about it yourself to some degree. So I'm sorry this might, sound depressing or whatever. I don't know how to finish it. So it's going on and on and on. So I'm still trying to teach spiritual wisdom so people don't reject God, obviously, just because it seems like I'm not happy with what he's doing with my life. I don't reject him. You get me? I'm just expressing what I have the right to express, just what I feel about the situations he puts me through. You get me? That's separate from him. You can still be dutiful to him. Worshiping him doesn't mean losing yourself, losing your authentic self and what you like. That's what demons do. They try to blend their personalities with you and take away your authenticity. And in a human, that comes out as those who try to control you, which are the humans I hate the most. That would be the pervert, the psychopath, the narcissist, right? Obviously trying to harm, control, destroy human bodies and their honor and their rights and their personality and their right. Duh. But when it's not harm, right? Let's say someone's strong, they cannot harm. Well, then they try to verbally and psychologically try to control and change your personality, like at a job. Because, personally, they can't do that because they're scared of you. Okay, so at a job, these demons think they can use the job to get you to do what they want. Be submissive to some degree. You get me? Because you need the job. They think they can use that to take away your assertiveness, etc. Don't ever let them. Just go after them legally. Don't ever let the thoughts actually make you believe in what they say. That, right, maybe this could happen again or they'll retaliate. Who cares? As long as something is evil and bad, whoever did it is the problem, not you. So just go after them legally. Expose them and humiliate them to those that obviously don't know what they do, and that's why they have good jobs, good homes, right? Expose them so everyone cuts them off and punishes them. Now you're not in the shadow. You get me? Only you know they're evil, and everyone's shaking their hand. That obviously hurts you psychologically, right? Because that's not okay. That's not fair. Everyone should know, so then you're not alone, which is obviously what demons try to do to me. These humans that harass me every day, they pretend to be good people every day around others. So sometimes I can tell God is intentionally making that human and I see each other so I can expose them. I've felt it many times. He wants me to expose them. He wants them to he wants to allow their demon to be evil so that then I actually get to report them and now they lose their job, etc. Many humans have been punished like that when I send really strong complaints about them, because writing is one of my gifts and I speak in a way that is very good at explaining what they did wrong. It's not like a complaint like I'm pissed off. It's not like that. I speak like I'm writing some sort of report like an attorney would or a lawyer would. I write just like they would, but in my own way. I don't obviously copy their style. Since I speak like a person of God, I talk differently. And I obviously have my own personality. I talk differently. But it's just I write in a really, right, sort of like legal way, or really smart way, so that the reader, the third party, can really see, right, this is correct information. I take, good documents, etc., evidence, step by step. I explain the psychology behind why they spoke so condescendingly or tried to get in my personal space. Or I actually tried to explain the psychology as if you're in their head and you know what they were thinking. That third party now can be like, wow, oh my, you get me? They just get shocked how I connected so well, because that's the knowledge I have. I just don't give them all that knowledge, because humans are not supposed to know that I have such knowledge. It's just some amount of it, so they at least understand, because they were not there. I can see what this human was thinking, feeling, why they, what emotions the devil put in them, jealousy, whatever, and then they spoke this way, and then you did this, and they spoke that way, and then they, harassed you this way, like that. I explained the process so well. So do the same, don't just report something, because obviously liars know how to then twist things, because demons help them do it. That's why they have endless energy. So if you do things step by step in a healthy way like that, okay, they're gonna lose energy to argue and lie. They stop. They just acknowledge you're the truthful one. So always protect your rights. Always stand up for yourself. Always be assertive. Don't ever allow anyone to make you act submissive or weak or scared of them. Avoid them on a phone call or text or face to face when they're obviously harassing you every time. Especially narcissistic type of behavior. Very covert, but controlling like behavior, like raising their voice, saying your name, cutting you off, just trying to act dominant over you, like they can own you or something. Nasty behaviors like that. Yeah, don't ever let the devil push you to then talk to them, because you're afraid maybe they'll take your job away or something else, or accuse you or whatever. Separate these things, just as God would not, right, see that as normal or good. You don't. You get me? In your mind, see that you just need to show third parties what this human was doing. What you and God were seeing. That's your job, to show third parties that stuff. Have good documentation. Let them call you and text you and irritate your emails. That's evidence. Avoid face-to-face contact with them as much. Document that as much as you can. Even record them, without them knowing, like having apps that record that interaction, and not camera, but just audio, in a way that's legal and healthy in that environment you're in. In other situations, right, where you wouldn't record someone, then protect yourself through that sort of prevention type of behaviors. You're just always controlling what you say. You're using your eyes, your facial expression, your emotions to intimidate them and push them away from thinking they can bother you like that. You can always intimidate them without saying a word. You can always be like, can you message that to me? Can you email that to me? You can always push them to always then go back to being that way with you instead of face to face. Document. Expose them, get them in trouble, get them fired for their bad conduct. Get your jobs back that way. Don't be scared. Don't think you have to lose it. Just as no one would ever agree to them firing you if they knew they harassed you like that, your job is to then create that as your reality. Make others actually know what happened, so that then no one agrees with their choice to fire you wrongfully. Harass you as a customer from a hotel or something wrongfully. You get me? Kick you out wrongfully. Arrest you wrongfully. Always the humans who have a job, right? Therefore, they can control the service in that environment. Always demons use them to take away your rights to enjoy that service, whether it's your job, your customer, etc. Your rights to just live freely in this country. You have to document and record. One of the signs of the end of the world is that lying will increase. If people are just going to lie. So these types of humans will increase. And they'll get more bold over time to just make up stories and accuse people. But see, God gave us a way out. Wouldn't you expect that God to find a way for us, right? That obviously helps us against them. It's the technology we have. You get me? Use it against them, you know. Don't let them use it against you like narcissistic families do. They terrorize the victim. That good kid who's not like them, like the evil family, their demons would do to harass me. They would always call me, text me, harass me. I could never live in peace if I had a phone. You would start to hate your phone. You would start to hate, right? These things you're supposed to love because they actually want you to hate it. They actually want you to be scared of it. Anything they use to harass you, they want you to be scared of it. They harass you at a job. They want you to avoid jobs. They actually want you to just go and live in the street like that. They harass you at your school, right? Teachers bother you. Then they want you to give up education. You get me? The harassment is not really the goal. It's just the means to get to their goal, which is for you to give up whatever it is that you would receive in that environment if they didn't harass you. They want you to give it up. So demons are really after our materialistic needs or desires. They want us to not have it because we're human. We're created to obviously need that stuff to some level to be happy. You know, we need that. They're energy vampires. They feed off of our depression or helplessness or bad emotions. They love that. They have to always put you in depressive situations. So I'll just upload one last episode, the prayers, and then that's enough. You know, you don't need other prayers because billions of ways to pray, obviously. It's just how you rearrange your words. But these are really good ones that really get to the point of what you want. And they actually are very effective and very fast. Demons started to attack me a lot when I did this. And people who would covertly harass me for months or years, now they're just exposing themselves. They're doing something that makes them sort of exposed. They were harassing me. You get me? Boom. And now I can just take legal action. Now I can just report them. Now I can just, right, bring in third parties. It's easy for me now because before it was covert for so long, you don't know how to even, right, expose them. But now it's so easy. I'm doing things that just push them to expose themselves and do exactly what they were intending to do, like sabotage something for me. Now I can just report them, right? And show the evidence that they had no right to take something away or deny some service. And boom, they get in trouble. I get my service back. I get an apology. Do that every single time in your life as a human being. Don't ever stop that quality just because one day maybe something bad happened to you. You get me? Don't ever lose the qualities you have when there's no retaliation against you. You know, just because a retaliation happened, then don't lose the quality, because the whole reason they're retaliating is so you lose that quality of speaking up. Don't lose that quality. Just find more smart ways to expose them. The more they come up with more sneaky ways, you get me, to come after your happiness. And then at some point, demons will just see that pattern of always them failing and they'll leave you alone. It's like that. It's like a bully that's like a person. But in order for it to stop, right? Like if you have bloodline curses, you suffer on a regular basis. Okay, well then the prayer is where then they'll have to leave you alone. God will free you. So basically, you know, my last message to you is for you to take care of yourself, for you to pray, connect with God. Use this episode I'll upload, inshallah, where you just use these prayers. They're very effective and very strong. It's just for me, when I do them, God is not going to deliver me. Because for me, He's making demons persecute me, while other human beings, demons are harassing that person. So God will help them right away. But for me, God is putting me through it. So until He's done, it's like, you know, I'm not going to just be free. Just do the best you can. Use whoever you can in human history as your inspiration. There's always wonderful people who've done great things. You can always, not like humans who had success or something. Because evil humans could have had success they didn't deserve through all the ways that they obviously sabotage others to steal what they don't deserve. Like these psychopaths who steal people's jobs, and they're the ones who always have the important jobs. I mean, good people with good hearts, you can see really did selfless things. You know, use them as role models to always not give up on honoring yourself during the time in your life where life is not giving you, not life, where life is not getting out of your way, all the problems that, right, God is testing you with, or demons are sending your way, so that You get me? When your breakthrough is here, when your help from God is here, you're actually arrived to receive it, you know? You're not that person that's like missing. Like the student is not there to receive their diploma, even though you earned it, you know? Then you didn't arrive like that. You were so depressed you didn't get it like that. And you actually did receive it, you know? So know that your diploma is waiting. If you rely on God and leave all the bad things that you know are sinful for you, regardless of what, you know, if you're confused about religion, alcohol, drugs, porn, hurting people, verbally, physically, emotionally, psychologically, pervertedly, physiologically, emotionally, you know, saying bad things about God, etc. Whether it's racism, perversion, sexism, disrespect, gaslighting, lying, cheating, drugs, alcohol, smoking, sex outside of marriage, cheating on your spouse, hurting, abusing, beating up children. If I had kids, I would never lay a finger on them. That's actually a sin. A lot of people are going to go to hell for beating their kids. They want to act like God would actually allow you to beat children. Do you believe a God would ever allow you to get hurt? Unless you did something bad, right? Like you actually are mature enough to be beaten. No, right? God doesn't believe in violence, right? So humans are crazy. They act like God will not punish them as parents for beating their kids, especially when they beat their kids for no reason. So that's actually abuse. You get me? God will put them in hell for that. So that's also a sin. Don't ever lie and become a crazy human yourself and think you can beat up your kids and actually call that discipline. They're human just like the adults. Just as you don't beat up adults, you tell them what's right and what's wrong. We'll tell the kid what's right and what's wrong. That's actually how they also, as their nature, the way God designed them, He created them with a mind. Just like the bad things they do, the devil came to their mind and got them to agree to do it. He didn't beat them up. So in order for you to even know how they do bad things is through their mind. So if you actually want to change them, you would go to their mind too. Talk to them. You know, if they're like, well, it's not changing. Well, there's ways to obviously take things away from them like God does for you. He take things away from you. He delays you from having materialistic things. Do that, you know, that sort of way you give them detention. Don't lock them in rooms and deny them food and hurt them and scare them like someone's going to come and eat them. Don't torture them psychologically, emotionally, or with their health or their hunger. Or don't hurt them and don't lie to them about God and their rights and their legal right. Don't mistreat them. It's that simple. The way you would want to be treated, treat the kid the same way. If you know you're not going to treat kids well, then stop. Don't have kids. It's that simple. Just because the rest of the human race doesn't mean that you're stupid for not doing it. Well, a lot of them are going to go to hell for how they treated those kids. How about that? Don't think they got some good thing that you skipped on. You don't have to do something just because others do it. You're different. You're trying to be a good person. You're trying to be connected to God. You want to do it because you actually love it and you're going to handle, you know, whatever that blessing is with morality. You get me? You're not trying to be like them. You're not trying to be like the typical sinful, shallow, loose, useless human. You're trying to be a good person. You get me? Obviously, your decisions will depend on what you want and what you can handle. You know, don't be like, oh, they had kids. That means they can handle it. If I don't have it, doesn't that mean I'm accusing myself of not handling it? No, they didn't handle it. That's why they beat them up. They can't handle teaching them how to have manners and how to not do bad things. They don't know how to raise the kid because they're evil humans. So they beat them up. Get it? So they're not better than you, okay? You're better than them because you don't want to traumatize those kids. You want to be moral first and fix your character. But then if you love children and want to have them and you would never do evil to them, well, then that's for God to help you, get it? You actually need Him to show you who you should marry. Don't go looking for someone random, crazy as hell. And then, okay, ask Him for good kids and pray for them too. You know how I told you to pray? Yeah, pray for your future spouse and children that you would want to have, for their health, for protection, you know, so that no one ever rapes them, molests them, kills them, beats them up, so that they don't commit suicide, they don't get into drugs, become mentally ill, become evil, become perverted themselves, nasty themselves, harm others, bully others. No one ever puts them in jail, prison, mental hospital, like that. Pray against all these extreme, horrible, evil things that God created, which is what my prayers will include for you, just so you know. Pray for the kids, pray for the spouse, and pray for yourself. You know what these You know what kids go through on a daily basis that's really high level evil. And you know what, a spouse, right? You would want God to protect them from. It doesn't mean when you pray that that doesn't happen, that that's something they'd normally experience, right? It could be a strong person who could never be beaten up. That doesn't mean you don't pray for them to then not get beat up. It's just, right, just the way that prayer is. Just asking for God to protect them. You get me? It doesn't mean you're mocking yourself or God or that person or anything. It's just good to pray. You get me? God is the great one, so we can always be humble and pray to Him for everything. That's good for us. So what I want basically is just to get out of this situation that seems to not end. Get out of this crazy country. Even though the other countries are crazy as hell. And just really find a smart strategic plan to be around normal humans and get away from the average human I see in this country. Just psychopathic, narcissistic, shallow, perverted, usually homosexual. I'm sick and tired of it. They're just covert homosexuals. You just can't tell. You get me? They have children. They have spouses. They're dating. You get me? Perverted, that's literally what it means. You get me? Obviously it means you're also homosexual, because perverted just means to everyone. Children, your own gender, the opposite. You're perverted to everyone. You get me? So if someone is perverted, they obviously are also homosexual. You get me? Because at some point they're going to try to invade and touch people who are, invade the personal space and touch people who are their own gender. You agree? Okay. And that means they are what you would call a pedophile too, because they're also going to try to touch kids. You get me? One way to know that is they call people like young man or boy or, you know what I mean? Like they would call you things like that. Young lady, that's a perverted person. Normal people do not disrespect you by calling you those terminologies. They're condescending, get it? They're trying to put you down. A pervert is just a psychopath. They're just trying to take away your humanity by acting like you're some weak little object thing. So something normal, right? Like a person being a young man or a young female, that terminology is disrespectful. You get me? The context, the way they're saying it is wrong. You don't call people those things. Young man. Okay, boy, what do you got going on here? It's like usually how African Americans speak, who are disgusting. They have the most nastiest language when they speak, you know? I would say the entire human race, the devil taught them the worst way to speak to each other. You know, so disgusting. A lot of females who are perverted get away with that a lot. Because no one judges them when they touch someone, when they touch even their own nephews and nieces and stuff. You know, no one can see the creepiness, the way she's trying to act dominant over them, the way she's also two things. They're trying to act dominant over you, right? The equality of being evil, treating humans like you're dominant over them. But then two, trying to act like a man, the opposite gender. And it's so nasty. You know what I mean? Because you're the same gender as this person. And it's just, that's the type of perversion that just makes me, that's when I ask God to just let me get out of this earth. I don't even want to be here anymore. Is there a way I can just, come back to you? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there an exit? Can I exit through the sky? I'm sick and tired of perverts, That's the evil I cannot. Again, human beings who are decent hate evil too. It's just they can ignore it maybe or forgive it or whatever. They're crazy. That's the evil I cannot tolerate. You don't want to bring a pervert near me or a psychopath. Like just humans who are always trying to treat you like an object in some way, or weak or stupid, or as if they can control you. That sort of, I don't know. See, there's so many qualities I don't even know how to label it. I'll just call them perverted, because psychopath and narcissist is just the qualities of a pervert. It's just the controlling aspect of humans who are perverted. They really are just perverts. It's just that at some point they act controlling, so people think they're just a psychopath and not a pervert. You get me? Evil humans are always perverted first. You get me? Then they descend to other things. That's what they're always gonna have a quality of getting in your space. Always, because that's a way to try to act dominant. You get me? Like they're just in your face. They're trying to get in your space. Like you don't have your own. It's a way to treat you like you're not a human. You get me? So that is a quality of a pervert. They're always after the body. They don't respect the body of a person. They don't obviously respect their own body. If someone touches them, they don't care. They're nasty as hell. So don't turn into these types of human beings. A lot of you are already like this. I don't ever want to see your face. Don't even come up to me. Don't be like, I changed and became a good person. Well, go over there and mix with people who are evil like you and became good. Don't try to enter people like me, our lives. You know, I'm not arrogant, but people who we would consider righteous or who've never been evil. Don't come to me, because I cannot accept you. You know, all I can do is do what God did and God told me to do, which is just to be just with you. You know, just tell you that you obviously always have the option to repent. I'm not going to hide that from you because I hate you so much. You get me? That sort of justness. Obviously, I'm already just. But I don't want to mix with evil human beings. And part of what God is calling me to do, right, to help the human race, sort of involves me having to go out there and help them. And I don't want to see them. I don't want to mix with them. Such a disgusting, this species is so evil. It's like I think sometimes only 1% is good versus maybe 20 or 30. God, they're all nasty as hell. All perverted as hell. Disgusting and extremely hypersexual. Anyone they can just go in a bed with them today. It's disgusting. I'm sick and tired of this creation. So nasty. The ones you think don't fall under this, you think are decent. I just told you they're hiding it. They get boyfriend or girlfriend. They marry. You think they're not perverted. God have mercy. A lot of them are doing homosexual things behind their spouse's back. So a lot of good people will just choose to not get married. You get me? You might be like, but wouldn't God give them a good person? Why do they gotta suppress themselves like that? Sometimes God puts us through a burden of telling us to marry people who are not as moral as us, who may be changed or whatever, or maybe right now they're moral, but tomorrow they could be evil too, because they have free will. And you're someone who could never choose evil. Obviously, you're just gonna have to be like, hell no, I'm not just gonna get married at all. You get me? Because you're not being matched with someone you know is like you who would never become evil. You can tell if a human is average and then, right, they can be twisted, or someone you can tell they would never be evil. You can tell. Observe people, okay? So someone like me, obviously cannot get married because I'm different than human beings. So the human male is not compatible with me. But two, let's say whatever incompatibility is there, God fixed it and brought me one that maybe is not like that. Okay, I cannot trust him. He could be evil tomorrow. I'm not doing this nonsense. You get me? I'm not like you who could care less because you're so hypersexual. You just want to mate. You could care less if someone goes evil tomorrow. You're just thinking you'll divorce them. Exactly, because you cannot love them as much as I can. You'll just forget them the next day. I'm not hypersexual like you, so leave me alone. Okay, so take care of yourselves. Always choose God and morality and to honor yourself and to not be bullied and victimized, and don't ever hurt others, and repent for what you've done and choose to change and take advantage of this time you live in where it's almost the end of the world and God is putting a lot of people into their hearts to change and repent and come to him even though they don't know him. Just do the best you can that he's guiding you to. You know what that is. It's just the good things in your mind and heart that you're feeling like you're being pushed to do. Things you would say are righteous and moral. Do it. Don't follow political things or corrupted scriptures like Quran and Bible that dishonor women's rights and act like they can't be treated like an equal being, or God is crazy or what. Don't do that. A true good God out there would never do that to us. So he didn't. That's the corruption in the book, and God will send down people who will fix that. And for that reason, a lot of chaos has to happen before they're sent down, because that's just always what God, allows things to be. They don't come down in this perfect time, obviously, because you don't need them, right? They have to come down when the devil is allowed to first just make things even worse. And then they're going to have to fix it. And for that reason, they have to suffer a lot. They don't get to enjoy life like you. And some prophets obviously enjoyed their life to some degree, got married, etc. Usually they all got married. But some didn't. And they just had a really difficult life. And then they died. Okay, so, right, whoever God chooses in the future, such as maybe if Jesus comes back, he was a prophet, he's still going to have to go through suffering again, but then maybe God will let him enjoy the last bits of his life. Who knows? Or maybe he won't, and he'll just die right after. It's just one of those things where, someone like him just has to accept it. And someone like you don't have to deal with that. Just, do the best you can to enjoy this life despite the problems, the war, right? Still enjoy the good things God created. Don't let the devil put those thoughts into your head. Usually from the protesters who keep acting like you're evil if you're happy because people are dying. People are dying every day. That doesn't mean you're not going to be happy and go to a restaurant and eat your favorite meal. You get me? You're just not going to walk around this earth like there's no problem. Like you don't care about people. You're not going to be heartless. You're going to do the best you can. If you have any way to help them, to join and help, just don't do anything you see because it could be criminal. But just, like you can donate and be careful where you donate to. You could be donating to an organization that's crazy. You get me? You're doing the best you can. If there's a way for you to help, you help. You also help with prayer. You come up with ideas in your own community. You guide people to stop protesting and instead to actually just gather resources and donate to those people, right? Send food to them, etc. That's really when you care about people, not standing in the street screaming, because that's just your selfish desire, right? Sing and dance and go crazy and be crazy. And and if you did that randomly, you'd get in trouble. So you just want to use these situations where people are suffering and oppressed as your excuse to go out there and scream. You get me? Something you just wanted to do for yourself, just to get attention. That's really the majority of protesters today. They're seeking attention. They don't actually care about those people. It's like attention grabbing for them. If their friends are doing it, they're gonna do it. They're gonna get popular like that. They're gonna be on social media. They're gonna say, "I got arrested by protesting." It's become a badge. You get me? To act fake moral. You get me? Real moral people are not crazy. They don't go in the street and scream. Okay? They really try to do things that help others. They care and they express it in good ways. If they ever were misguided into joining a protest, well, then they're going to be the ones to be peaceful, and then they're not going to go back anymore when that's not what happened. And then they're going to get tired of going every time because they see there's no purpose or benefit, right? Because they're just screaming and just then they go home. What did you achieve? You gave me at some point, if that person really was corrupted, because they're human, they're ignorant, right? Until they have more knowledge from God. Obviously, a lot of them will get corrupted into that. But there you go, a true good person, right? Okay, what are they going to do? Realize it wasn't a good idea and they're not going to go back. You get me? So good people could do something, you would say, maybe. Someone could get tricked into doing. Okay, but then they're not going to do it the next time. You get me? Because they're actually good. They didn't mean it. It was a mistake. They got tricked into it. But people who, right, who really are crazy in that sense, not crazy as in like crazy, but like, you know what I mean? They're toxic. They're not healthy. They're going to always just do it. You get me? Despite there's no benefit coming out of it being obvious to them because they never had any intention to do good with their time. So don't go out there protesting and being crazy, please. That's not what God's leaders would tell you to do. That's not what God would tell you to do. God would tell you to just come together. You get me? Why don't they just get into a big ballroom or hallway or convention like that? Come together. Like a concert, the way humans come together like that. Instead, that's sinful, right? Going to concerts and people being naked and singing and all that nonsense. You can come together, right, in a way like that where you're coming together as a large group. But you can do good this time. You get me? You can spread awareness and ask each other questions. There's so many of them. Do you agree? Everyone has a mind. They can literally spread the mic around or microphone and ask each other, hey, what should we do? Just like a teacher asks us questions. Everyone in the entire large place or seminar can be asked what solutions they can do to stop some sort of war going on or poverty or global problem. Where's the solutions? No one's thinking anymore. You get me? Because these are not people who are really good in that way, in their morality. They're not healthy, decent humans who want to bring solutions. They're just misguided. The devil will use them. So don't live that sort of useless, misguided life. Don't be boxed in your home, being scared of being homeless or, living a difficult life outside. Instead, go out and look for job fairs. That's one thing God taught me. Job fairs are really easy to get a job if you're looking for a job. They just hire you on the spot. So look for job fairs in your city, in your state, even some of them that are virtual, maybe a state you want to go to. Don't just jump to whatever state or city you want to go to because, right, maybe you just feel like you should go there. Maybe you're not supposed to go there. You know, maybe you're supposed to go initially to where you always thought you were supposed to go, if you could really have what you wanted and not have to make a haste decision. And right, because it's not happening yet, God is not helping you yet, maybe then you feel like you should go to this one or that one. Don't be haste, you know? Just take your time. There's never any rush in this life. You can rush all you want, but you're not going to get something if God didn't want you to have it. There's certain things you're supposed to go run and look for yourself, like a job, you know, or help. Do it, you know, research as much as you can. Exhaust all your options, because then you know you did your part and it wasn't God, right? How do you know? He limited you, right, if you don't even try it. So when you see that, right, he's limiting you in a certain, okay, now you don't have to be mad at yourself that you didn't try. You just wait for his help. But then you still keep doing, you know, the other things that are sort of working, but just maybe it's not time yet. Like that. It doesn't mean you drive yourself exhausted this way. It just means you're just really being smart and just trying to fix your life. You're not letting the fact that you're connected to God stop you from doing the physical work of this earth, you know? And then you're still doing the spiritual part. You get me? Connecting with him. Don't do either or is what I'm saying. And to that person, you know, I just hope you connect with your creator better and you live a happy life. This is really a goodbye message. Take care of yourself.